Hello, guys, and welcome to my podcast. My name is Melissa Snow, and today we're going to be talking about Vlad the Impaler. So it says, in full, Vlad III Dracul of Romania, Vlad III Dracula was born in 1431 in Transylvania, and he died in 1476, a present day of Bucharest, Romania, and he was the age of 45. Says, Vlad was the second of four brothers born into the noble family of Vlad II Dracul. His Sambaquit Dracula, meaning son of Dracul, was derived from the Latin Draco, dragon. After his father introduced into the Order of the Dragon, created a holy remaining Empire Sigmund, I don't know how to say that, for the defense of Christian Europe against the Ottoman Empire. Vlad moved to Triglavisti, Wallachia in 1436 when his father assumed leadership of the Wallachia Vilayet. Principally in 1442, Vlad and his younger brother were sent to court. Ottoman the Sultan Mahmud II was tolerated to assure that the Sultan, that their father, in reversal of his previous position, would support Ottoman policies. Vlad returned to 1448, having been informed that the assassination of his father and his elder brother at his hands of Wallachian boyars in the year before. So I was watching this thing, and it said that his brother imprisoned him, or tried to imprison him, and then he escaped, and then he was like in a dungeon for a long time. I can't remember like exactly the dates, but then his brother took over and they didn't kill him. But this says, Vlad embarked upon the first of the lifelong series of campaigns to regions his father's seat. It says his opponents include the boyar as well as his younger brother, who was supported by the Ottoman Sultan. He emerged briefly victorious in 1448 and was disposed after only 2 months after the 8-year struggle of Vlad against the Vilayet. See, I do not know how to say these words. Says it was during this period of rule that he committed the atrocities for which he was best known for. His penchant for impaling his enemies on stakes in the ground and leaving them to die earned him the name Vlad the Impaler. Remain Vlad Tepes. He inflicted this type of torture in foreign and domestic enemies along nobly. He was retreated from the battle in 1462. He left the field filled with thousands of impaled victims. As a deterrent to punishing Ottoman forces, that year he escaped Ottoman capture, only to be intercepted by Hunger's forces imprisoned by Matthias I of Hungary, whose assistance he had sought. Vlad regained his seat in 1476, but was killed in battle. The same year, he remained a folk hero in region for the efforts against Ottoman enrichment. It often has been thought that the Stoker based the title character of Dracula on Vlad Vlad, sorry. Though Stokes' note for the novel to include mentions Dracula, historian accounts from which the note was taken mention only not the deeds for which is a barrier of known. Some scholars have spectated that Stokes' convention of the noted historian Herman Bambar may have provided him with information of Vlad's violent nature. There is no concrete evidence supporting the theory. So it shows a map of the empire, and it just goes into that. So what I've heard about Vlad was he was Dracula because the way he killed his enemies was he would stick them on a stake and just let them sit there until the weight of their bodies impaled into their body. That's why he was called Vlad the Impaler. During this whole time, he slaughtered a lot of people. He was not a nice guy for a while, and then he escaped a lot of these places. And it says right here, in their initial state of expansion, the Ottomans were leaders, of the Turkish warriors for the faith of Islam, known as a horrific title, Ghazazi, Arabic raider who fought against the shrinking Christian state. So it's just going into what they did when he was ruler. And then it says the following of the final Mongol defeat of Seljulius in 1292, Osman emerged as prince. So it's saying that this is how his family became the prince, or whatever they called his dad, the Sultan. But they were kings, and Vlad's brother wanted to be a ruler. So they killed his dad, like it said in the beginning, because they betrayed him. And then they betrayed Vlad, and then he ended up in prison for a while, and they let him out, and then he became the king again. It says, it just goes on about how they became on the throne, and that's about it with that story. One second. Alright, so this one says, few names have cast more terror into the human heart more than Dracula, the legendary vampire created by Bram Stokes for his 1897 novel of the same name, as the inspired countless horror movies, television shows, and other blood encountering tales of vampires. Then Dracula may have seemed like a singular creation. Stokes, in fact, drew inspiration from the real-life man, when even more goat seekers' taste for blood. Vlad III, Prince of Wallachia, I can't say that word. Wallachia. I can't say that word. Or as he is better known, Vlad the Impaler. Vlad Tepes. A name he earned for his favorite way of despising with his enemies. So yeah, with that story, that made me laugh, sorry. So it says, when you need your constant, so we were trusted by this story. All right, hold on. All right, it says, the real Dracula, the bloodthirsty life of Vlad the Impaler. Vlad the Impaler. All right, it says, from the beginning, the old and sick alive to impaling tens of thousands of enemy soldiers, earning his foursome nickname, Vlad the Impaler. Bloodlust and currently was said to have inspired the most famous vampire of literature, but how much of him is in Bram Stoker's Dracula the way has Vlad been remembered by some as a national hero? Richard Sugg explores the true story of the 15th century. Vlad the Impaler, a few names of Europe history conquer, such as weight of myths and brutality, and this three-time ruler of Wallachia in modern-day Romania, a survival woodcut from Nuremberg in 1499, shows him seat at his meal enjoying the sight of the men and women spread throughout their terrace on stakes just feet away, while they served heads on limbs of other victims lie at his feet. The accompanying textiles of how he roasted, boiled, and flayed people and forced mothers to eat their own children. That's disgusting. Along with other legends of the seemingly pathological, currently Vlad is the remembering of the impossible for the Bram Stoker's novel Dracula. With the first punishment of 125 years ago in 1897 behind the tumble stakes, however, is the host of the fact that Vlad the Impaler that was often stranger than the wildest Gothic fiction. Says, was he a vampire? It says clearly not. He knew perfectly the customs of the Turks. He was a prisoner of the Turks since he was a boy and knew what kind of tactics to use. Put yourself in his shoes of the Turk soldiers in the 15th century, dragged into the history terror and trying to sleep at night. Suddenly you were waking up in the middle of the night in the middle of a battle trying to survive. What will you think of using the period way of thinking? This period way of thinking. Certainly that you would be attacked by mythical creatures or something unnatural. He just has knowledge about the Turks, and his own just used his knowledge about the Turks on his own advantage. When he knew today about Vlad the Impaler is just a fraud. The fact that he impaled people just for fun or to see blood is not true. He used this method and other cruel methods to bring out in the chaos that ruled Wallachia at this time in order to offer equal justice in everyone. For me is a natural hero, this person says, not people realizing this, but Dracula was actually a documentary series. Yes, of course, Vlad Tepes was a vampire. In fact, he still is. Assembling, obviously, that the vampire means not a vampire, and by he still means he died in the 15th century. But yes, those minor details aside, this guy who helped my country exist certainly was mythical, being invented for hundreds of years, that the Irish fiction writer. And you know that Vlad the Impaler, the only reason why they say he is a is Dracula is because he spilled a lot of blood on the land, and he liked watching his enemies be unalived. So, says Vlad Tepes, also known as Vlad the Impaler, was a 15th century Romanian prince who is the brutal and sadistic method of ruling. He is often associated with vampire legends, particularly because he is considered one of the most historical figures that inspired Bram Stoker's fiction character, Count Dracula. However, Vlad Tepes, I can't remember, was not the vampire in the supernatural sense. He was a real historical figure who ruled Wallachia. I keep laughing every time I say that. And his infamous for his extreme cruelty, including impaling his enemies that associated with vampires likely stem from his reputation of violence. His family's name Dracul was the meaning of the son of the dragon or son of the devil, and the folks surrounding him, which was embellished over centuries. In summary, Vlad Tepes is linked to a vampire mythology. He was not a vampire, but rather a historical figure whose life actions contribute to the vampire legend that follows. The idea of vampires existing long before Dracula, Vlad Tepes on Dracula, aka Vlad the Impaler, was semi-mad noble in Romanian, specifically what they called Wallachia, which apparently borders Transylvania, says non-Romanist. This is a most on point. So there was vampires talked about before Dracula, is said on here. So it came from an urban legend, but then he became known as Dracula, the son of the dragon, a vampire, one that sucks blood, one that can take a lot of power into his hands. And says no, he was not a vampire. He was just a normal human being, but was part of the Romanian nobility. He was a prince. He was not bloodthirsty, but justice and freedom thirsty. His ruthless and cruel punishment acts were necessarily in resent order and justice into the prince. Sorry, my cat is getting up here. Prince Pit of Wallachia, and reducing other Ottomans and investments in inner warrior. All right, 1 second. I gotta get my cat. All right, you guys. Sorry for that. You saw her tail. She's just sitting right here next to me. And so that's what I found on Vlad. I have watched some documentaries on him, and he was imprisoned for a long time. So whenever he was inside the prison cell, he did the same thing to animals that came in there. He was known to do that while he was captured. Yes, he was captured a couple times and he escaped and everything, you know. So the reason why they called him Dracula about the blood situation is because he did slaughter a lot of people, but he only did it because he was a ruler and he wanted the best for his country. And yeah, so that is my story on Vlad the Impaler. If I can go on a second part of this story, I will. And we're getting about that time to say goodbye. So I just want to let everyone know that I am going live soon. And if you see me live, come join in with me. and I want you to come have fun. We're going to try to do some battles, and I want to get to know the people that like my stories. I have met several of you, and I am super excited that you like what I do, and I'm very happy about it. And I will be going live multiple times during the day, and if you see me, come and say hi and join me, and maybe we can do some battles. And I set my stuff to puppy hearts. So I love the fact that I can entertain you guys with my stories, and I'm glad that I decided to come over to TikTok and do this, because I was doing it all on YouTube, and now I'm over here, and my YouTube is growing, you guys. So if you want to join me on my YouTube, I do the same thing over there that I do here, and we're going to be going on some investigations. You guys missed me the other day. A couple of people came in while I was at the graveyard, and if you missed me the other day, it's okay. I'm here. You're going to see me again. You're going to get to know me. You're going to see my face, and you get to have live interaction with me. So I'm excited, and look out for some more historical spooky stories, and I hope you guys enjoy what I'm doing. I did the Salem Witches the last time, and then we went to the graveyard, like I said, and then I saw a dragonfly, and it watched me the whole time I was there, and it attacked me right after. So I was like, is it still alive? And it was, and it attacked me, and I screamed and I ran. My friend laughed so hard. She thought it was so funny. Yeah, so me and her, you're going to see me and her more often. She is slowly working her way up to be right next to me and talking about stories live. And yeah, so watch for since it's spooky season, I'm hoping there's a lot of good things to come for this season. And then maybe we can go to pick some pumpkins, and you guys can come with us, and you can do the hay rides with us, and I can show you around the Oktoberfest that's here. We have like a ton of Oktoberfest here. And then we plan on go to a haunted house, and it's a really big haunted house, you guys. It's like 450 acres, and it's haunted house. And there's actual real ghost story there in the Lindy building, I guess. So maybe I can do a story on that. Hint, 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 if you're watching. Just kidding. Yeah. And I hope you enjoy. And I will see you guys live, and I will see you guys on my next video podcast for you guys. And I'm working on a few stories. So I just want to tell everyone thank you. And I'm so happy and so overwhelmed and grateful for everyone that has joined me on my journey to this. And I want to say thank you and peace out, everybody. Bye. See you later.